Boy, what a treat today. I've got Walter, as I call him, Jeff Bates, who is the owner of the Polk County News, maybe one of the last newspapers around. It covers a lot of information. Anyway, it's going to be a great discussion. So let me ask you this. Did you drive all the way from Polk County? I guess you did.
I did, but I stopped at Cleveland Middle School, believe it or not.
Huh.
My wife teaches 7th grade math at Cleveland Middle, so she's a week from classes starting back, so we had a few things to do today.
So you had to put posters up?
Yeah, move a desk. And
I was with somebody eating breakfast yesterday, and his wife called him, and she wanted him to come over and decorate the room, I guess, for school. So it ruined his whole Saturday. So
it's a bit of a tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't mind at all. I look forward to it.
Whenever you read a story in the newspaper or see something on television about somebody getting arrested, you naturally assume they're guilty. Unless the story's about you or someone you love, then you'll think differently. And you'll want a lawyer who will defend you. My name's Scott Canavis. If you or someone you love has been charged with a crime, call me. I'll return your phone calls, I'll work on your case, and I will defend you.
you remember, I don't remember being in school and having all those decorations up. I guess they did, but I just didn't notice, stuff up.
No, me neither.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Was you a good student?
According to who you ask, I suppose. But, I made it through, and I did well in some subjects, not so well in others. But I don't remember the decor at.
I don't either.
At Benton Elementary, I suppose it was still a chalkboard then. One big difference.
I remember. How old are you?
I'll be 53.
So we're not far from the same age. So you remember having to dust the chalk?
Yeah, absolutely. You'd fight to get to do that.
Oh, yeah, because you got to go outside for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And then they came out with those long ones. Remember the long ones?
Absolutely, yeah. Yep, and then as chalk skills advanced, I suppose, they had the holders that had the 5 or 6 at once, and you get to lay the board out sometimes, but I never was that good a student.
I don't know when I guess chalkboards have been gone for a long time. What did your wife have in there? What did she have, those dry easels or something, or do they even have that now?
They have electronic boards that are, and a lot of the schools use, each student has like an iPad or Google Pad with this, and I'm not qualified at all to expand on that, but.
So they sit there with those things. Boy, that's a whole different world, isn't it?
I think that's part of the curriculum. But as you know, Tennessee passed a recent law that's fell in line with some other states around that they have to turn their cell phones in during instruction time now. That begins this school year. That may be a challenge and a blessing at the same time for teachers in Tennessee. There's a lot of data that shows that most teachers and parents are glad it happened once they see the results. And
I remember when you couldn't even take calculators to school.
Yeah, that was cheating.
It was cheating.
Yeah.
I remember when my uncle got the first calculator. I remember seeing it on his desk. I was already in school. So let's talk about the days of the Duff.
Yeah.
Those were good times. I used to go there on Tuesday nights, I believe it was, and played foosball with Denny Webb,
Yeah.
Peg, Greg Patterson.
Greg Patterson, yeah.
Shiner.
Shiner.
What was Shiner's real name? Steve?
Wasn't it Steve Kaysen?
Steve Kaysen, that's
Steve
right.
Kaysen, yeah.
I hadn't seen him in a long time. He was a pretty good plumber.
He was, and he had a friend, Wade, that ran with him a lot, and they were both great guys.
I can't remember. I can't place Wade for some reason.
He wasn't as outgoing as Shiner
Shiner.
was. He probably stayed in the background, but they traveled together a lot. And they were great foosball players.
Shiner played back.
He did. He had a great back shot.
Yeah. He always had it.
Yeah.
When he got ready to shoot, he'd straighten his posture up.
Yeah. And he could, what do you say, he could talk while he played.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was part of some people's
probably
strategies,
talked in
get
his
their
sleep.
head. Yeah.
I wonder what happened to him. I hadn't seen him in a long time.
No, me neither. Have no idea.
I remember that Max Everhart's son had a band there one night. Do you remember that?
I guess Turry.
Turry and the
Telco Militia.
Turry and the Telco Militia.
Yeah.
I've got their CD. I've got that CD.
Yeah.
I like that song "True."
I believe he worked for, I remember the handbills he had printed. At the bottom of them, it was the talent agencies at Morris Talent.
In Nashville, I
in
think,
Nashville,
yeah.
one of the biggest talent agencies. And that might not have been Everhart, but that was one of the guys in Turry. And they brung a really good crowd. Mm-hmm. And continued for several years. They would come back once a year. And
wonder what happened to them.
Now, good question. I would guess they were all really smart guys, and on their way to being well educated at that point. Some of them, and others already have been. So I imagine they're successful somewhere.
Was it Turry or Terry?
Turry, Turry, and it was just that first show that they were and the Telco Militia because they had some extra guys with them. The years after that, it was just Turry, Turry, period. That was it. And I would say they played off and on at the Duff until 2004, 2005. You know.
When did the Duff close?
The winter of 2006 was when it closed.
That was when the road came through, right? Did they?
Yep, that was when they started the acquisition of the property that winter. It was supposed to be complete by early summer. So if you know anything about the tourist industry in Ocoee, better to go ahead and close in the winter.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be open in the spring. So we closed in December of 2006. So.
What'd you do then?
I was unemployed for a while.
How long? Like a year or 6 months?
Up until today, really. I'm still looking for a good job. No, that coincided with about the time first child came along. So I transitioned into stay-at-home dad and burgeoning vegetable and meat farmer, just throwing my hand in the ring for raising our own food. So that turned into a little cottage business of selling poultry at the farmer's market in Chattanooga. And I did that full time along with diapering and meals and grocery shopping and back and forth to school with 2 kids up until 2018 when we revived the Polk County News. It had been closed for several months.
How many acres did you have there?
There at our place?
Yeah,
the
where
farm?
you decided to.
We've probably about 90 acres, a little over 90 acres there. Most of it mountainous and wooded.
So you thought this is something I can do while I'm at home?
Yeah, right. Let's see.
I mean, was it really thought out? This is something I can do while I'm watching the kids.
Oh well, I don't think I've done anything in my life by thinking it out first.
I think maybe you have. You just don't think you have. You seem to keep things simple. Like
Perhaps.
one-man operations and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Good help's hard to find. Sort of what it is. For one thing, around that time was when you and I and everyone else really started having access to the internet. So we're looking at information at our fingertips. You know, it was available before then. I had a couple of dial-up accounts, but
Yeah.
until we had a little faster internet come in, that's when we all really started
Having to, basically.
having to,
Yeah.
at the same time, having a library at our home desk instead of having to go to a library in town. So we made the decision that, based on testimonials and information that may or may not have been true, that it'd be best to feed our children an organic diet of home-raised foods versus other things that were available. And after the first couple of times shopping for organic foods in 2004, I said the only way I'm going to be able to afford to feed my kids organic is for me to grow it. So that kind of led into the first few chickens, and then from there it burgeoned into a little niche business. So now we get day-old chicks, and we raise them through 8 to 12 weeks, and we have our own butcher shop on farm. So throughout the years, me and my two sons, sometimes my wife, have pitched in, and we butcher chickens weekly. We did anyway. Now the past 10 years, I've had great help. I've had 2 or 3 guys, good butchers, that come in and work for me. And throughout the growing season, from May to Thanksgiving, sometimes we provide fresh on ice, whole chickens, boneless breast, leg, thigh, to the consumer, whoever's going to cook it.
So where do you sell it at?
There's 2 markets we're doing right now. One's the Main Street Farmers Market in Chattanooga. It's every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Just organic foods, no frills or crafts or anything. And then we also go to the Ooltewah Farmers Market, which is on Thursdays from 3 to 6 p.m. And then we have a pickup on Saturdays at the farm where people can reserve items and come and pick up. So.
You got a real business there, don't you?
Yeah. It started out as a backyard operation, but now we run between 6 to 800 chickens at a time, and we'll butcher between 50 to 100 a week until it gets cold. So we raise them out on pasture, so they're grazing grass.
So they're just out for the coyotes to get if they wanted to?
They're in shelters, commonly known as chicken tractors. It's a shelter with no bottom on it, so they can access the pasture. It's got a simple rope on the front. Imagine it's here in the morning. Daylight, I move it to here, and then feed and water them. Then at nightfall, we move it to here, feed and water them, repeat. So they're moved twice a day. Time the pathogen load starts to persist in their manure, which causes sickness that they have to treat with antibiotics and other things in other production models. We're ahead of that curve, and they're on fresh grass, and they get to dine and eat what's there in that spot. So they're moved.
I don't know how you figured all this stuff out.
Well, it's YouTube. The pioneer of this method is named Joel Salatin from Polyface Farms in Swoop, Virginia. He's been doing it since the mid-1980s and sold at farmers markets in Washington, D.C. So he kind of figured the basics of it out. I just had to adjust for our climate here.
Is that out on close to Morehouse? You know where I'm talking about? Where's your place at?
Let's see, we're on Parksville Road, halfway between Benton and Parksville, or Ocoee, as most people call it, on Highway 314. If you turn left to where Grumpy's used to be, remember Grumpy's?
Yeah.
Go
Out there by Phil Lee.
Darn near neighbors with Phil. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. on the same side of the road. We're backed up against the mountain there. So
What's a pretty view, isn't it?
yeah, I grew up right there. So
Yeah.
been blessed all my life.
How do you like feel for a neighbor?
Great.
Good neighbor. You don't have to worry about nobody bothering you, do you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I've enjoyed getting to know him and his dad before he passed away too. And of course, they're subscribers to the Polk County News.
I'm sure.
So intelligent guy. I've enjoyed.
Oh, he's real
conversations
smart.
with him.
He's
Yeah.
real smart.
And built a beautiful house there.
Oh, yeah. His dad used to eat at Ruby's. Was it Ruby's every morning? Or was it called Ruby's at the time?
Is that next to Stoney's in Benton?
Yep.
It's Ruby's now. It was Lottie's.
Lottie's, that's where, yeah.
Lottie's, I think, made it famous. Home of the big biscuit, the cat head biscuit was.
What's funny is if you go in there and they're crowded, you may just sit at the same table as somebody you don't even know.
Sure. Yeah, you got to find a seat wherever you can get.
They just set you right by somebody.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you got to talk to them.
Yeah, both Joker Joe's, Stoney's, and that little restaurant. It's been Lottie's, and now Ruby's has been just.
I remember when that was the only road in there. Isn't that so
that's right.
bizarre? It was the only road. The only way you, because I worked for my uncle when we built Johnny Morehouse house over on the, never can think of the name of that road. Is it Ramsey Bridge Road, maybe?
Reynolds Bridge.
Bridge Road, yeah.
Okay, I know what we're talking about now. Yeah.
I thought you lived over there.
No, I'm over in the valley, so I'm on Parksville Road.
So when did you start to? What made you decide to do the newspaper?
Like I said before, I just didn't think it out.
What year?
It was in June. The first time we published was in June of 2018. We started working on it in March of that year.
But what was the hey, let's do this? How long had it been out?
The previous publisher had stopped publishing in December of 2017, so it was out of publication in print for sure for a little over a year. I was a previous subscriber, so were my mom was growing up. I had it sent to me when I was in basic training in the Army. It was the highlight of my week. I got it out of my mailbox. I sat on the porch and read it.
Front to back?
Front to back, usually. Mild interest in how the county was running, the politics of it. A big interest in the history. And the previous publishers, Randy and Ingrid Bueller, and their daughter Cheryl, along with a host of volunteers around the region, amassed a big archive of Polk County and surrounding counties for a bit of history there, and I loved reading about it. I guess I've never called myself a history buff, but that's what I enjoy about the Polk County News now and then. So why did I decide to do it? There were a lot of people in Polk County that had more means than me to save an institution that had been in publication since 1883. So I could not understand how anyone could stand by and let that kind of resource, that kind of tradition, that kind of history fall to the side because we've got a brief love affair with social media. I wasn't going to let it happen. So I contacted Cheryl and we sat down, had a couple of beers at Reliance Flying Tackle and over there one day. It was actually down the street from there, a little burger joint then. I forget the name of it now. And I think she had several other people contact her about it, and I think she saw that I was serious and that...
What you just want to know? Hey, what's up? What's this? You didn't no intentions of buying it at the time?
No, I first contacted her saying, how can I help get it publishing again? And then during our initial conversations, it was made clear that she was through with it, and that the only way he was going to publish again was if someone else bought it. So I made an offer, she accepted, and part of that offer was for her to remain on board, which she did for about 60 days, and give Candace and I just a hint of what we're supposed to do. Neither one of us had ever
Was it
been in the news.
expensive? More than you thought, or less than you thought, or just a kind of a 60-day severance pay sort of thing?
You know, I sat down, and that was my first questions to her.
Yeah.
Was what are we looking at, of course. So with print publications, your biggest expense is obviously printing it. At that time, the Cleveland Daily Banner was printing here in Cleveland. And they agreed to print it again for me after some encouragement. I believe that was Ralph Baldwin. Is that who was publisher?
I don't know him.
So anyway, that's your biggest expense is
So they were going to print it for you?
Yep, so we cleared that hurdle. And after that, it was the Friends of the Library that I talked about earlier. They donated us a space for an office then. I had Ralph Baldwin from the Cleveland Daily Banner, former publisher Rhonda Whaley from the Daily Post-Athenian. Both of those spent time with me and Candace just explaining, basic things that we would have never thought of. And even though they were both competing newspapers, they were excited and more than willing to help out. They most likely saw the future that was happening, or the current that was happening. We're losing, hundreds of local newspapers every month in the United States. So I think what I'm getting at is that in the beginning, we had so much help and so many people that were willing to help us let this thing survive. I even, not really monetarily, but advice and time. They spent time with us. I had people help me deliver papers before. I've had people do, you name it, go take pictures at a high school football
Yeah,
game
because it
or
seems like
something.
it'd be, I would think the biggest expense would be somebody writing the article and going out and taking the pictures. But, I mean, make the folks keeping historic Ocoee dams running. They had to go out there and take a picture. You have to write it, edit it. I mean, that's a lot of work.
It is. Yeah, it's now we've had a number of people since 2018 that have contributed. At times I've had quite a few people working, at other times not. Currently, we produce that each week with a staff of 3 part-time people. And I'm the part-time guy that works 60 hours a week. And then I have a guy named Larry Bowers. You may know Larry. He worked for the Cleveland Banner for years, then retired and is just helping me do sports now. And then my one of my sons each week usually helps me print stuff, insert.
So who sets up where all this?
I call that Adobe InDesign help. That's my main job. I do all the design work for the publication, all the editing, all the last minute checks, the print setups, all that is me.
And that's not you. I mean, that's not your thing.
No, it never was.
From bar owner to newspaper.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, that summer, Candace being a school teacher, she started out, that was her job, was sitting at the computer and designing the whole thing. She did a great job on it, but that was only for a couple of months. When school started back, she had to go back to work. So then I was thrown into it, and I joked with her about it, and I said, this Adobe InDesign's like flying the space shuttle. There's a lot of buttons.
I tried it before. It's ridiculously hard.
It's hard when you incorporate it with, we do video, and of course you have to use Photoshop for it in order to prep your photos on it. So it's quite the learning curve and can be cantankerous at times. I've shook my fist at Adobe before.
And then you have to subscribe to stuff to keep the.
You do have
You have to a subscription to keep it. Download the description or the subscription to keep everything current. That's why I couldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You continually updating, and then of course you have to pay for the service too. As much as I shake my fist at it, though, I've been told about the history of how they used to produce newspapers. Of course, we all have seen the Hollywood version of the set types, but after that was a linotype, which was kind of like a cartridge that printed a single ticker tape out, and you really couldn't even edit it. You had to get it perfect to begin with. And so, according to Cheryl, the last publisher, she said when they converted from the old linotype to a Windows machine, it was like night and day as far as labor goes. So technology allows me to produce a newspaper in 35 to 45 hours a week of screen time, whereas it would have taken you.
That's still quite a bit of time.
Quite
That's
a bit,
five.
yeah.
That's 4.5. That's 4 working days.
Yeah, then I'm not just setting up the design and all. I'm also going to. My job is to go to public meetings like county commission meetings, city council meetings.
You gotta.
So I write those stories myself, and the rest I just bring in and edit and.
So you actually have to go and say, they passed this, they didn't pass that.
Yeah.
The meeting was tonight. I mean, you're a one-stop shop basically with some people doing some legwork.
Yes, that's right. I've got a guy, bless his heart, love him to death, Nova Photography in Copper Hill and McKaysville is where he lives. About the past year, he videos all the public meetings, which is the Polk County Commission. You've got the Benton City, then you've got Copper Hill City, you've got McKaysville City, and Ducktown City Council. So we've got 3 municipalities to report on in the county, and then 1 just across the state line. So
Now say it again. You got McKaysville City Council,
yeah,
Copper Hill City Council.
Yeah.
They still have a city council,
yep,
and then Ducktown's Benton City Council
and Ducktown,
and Ducktown.
yep, and the county commission.
Yeah,
And
so
then,
that's
yeah.
5.
5. Then miscellaneous, occasionally you've got election commission, occasionally you've got committee meetings.
Do you have planning commission and council meetings, or you just stick with the?
Sometimes we'll cover those.
But you don't
other-
feel.
Not always. Yeah.
So he'll go out and film these or video them, and that allows you to watch it.
That allows me to watch it in my office and write the summary of it, process pictures from the video.
And what's his name?
His name is David Elliott.
David Elliott.
Oh,
Well,
photography.
that's nice of him to do, isn't it?
Yep, he gets a small salary, but not much. He doesn't get paid what he's worth, and that's kind of the case for everybody that's worked for the Polk County News, including me. So that really freed up some time for me because Polk County is smallest population in the state, or one of the smallest populations, but we're split by the national forest. So to leave my house near Benton and go to a Copper Hill
Above the river.
go above the mountain, as it's always been
Yeah.
called, you can spend a considerable amount of time driving through the river gorge and just with no traffic at all. So being able to do that, plus the kicker on all that is for our readers, and that's what really makes it worth the money. When if I write an article on the county commission, let's say, I'll include a URL and a QR code ordinarily in the article where the reader can use their phone and and see the video of what I just wrote,
Ah,
so they can better understand it. They can take it into context better, and they can fact check me.
how do you know to do a URL label?
A QR code.
yeah.
Adobe InDesign creates that for me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you're getting good at this, aren't you? Just had to, didn't you?
It just, yeah. I mean, it's like running any other business, just like yours. You see obstacles and you see expenses. So if you can turn those obstacles into something positive and cut your expense at the same time, then
That's business.
that's business. So it's not unique to the newspaper industry.
You know, when the people were doing had this newspaper before you, and you were at basic training, and you were receiving the Polk County News.
Yeah.
They didn't know how much that meant to you.
Perhaps not.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's like when we're younger, we enjoy a little bit of current events, but when we get older, we somehow or another feel obligated to preserve it, and we didn't sign up for it, but we feel obligated.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think one of my conversations with Candace included that my recollection of growing up in Polk County was pretty much businesses closing, the school roofs leaking. We can't afford to.
The roads closing,
The roads
going
are
up the river.
closing. We can't afford to operate school buses.
Mm-hmm.
That's been, Polk County is a poor county when it comes to comparison with its surrounding counties. So, but anyway, I think one of my statements to her was that we lost so much in Polk County that if there's any way I can save this newspaper, I think that would be something that we need. I mean, it's the steward of our county's history, and some of Bradley County too, and vice versa. You know, it's been in print since 1883. Part of its time, it joined with the Bradley County paper during Rot times.
During Captain Rot.
Yep, during those times it joined together, and it's been back and forth. And so each week a copy gets sent to the Tennessee State Library and Archives. They keep it, they microfilm it, and when people
Every week?
every single issue gets sent to Nashville from every paper in Tennessee. Gets sent to Nashville, and they pay you. I mean, they're one of our subscribers. The State Library and Archives is, and that's their job. They preserve each newspaper.
I don't mind
daily.
paying for that. Do you, for the tax for that sort of stuff?
No, not at all.
That's what it's.
Yeah, and if you've ever been to the new State Library and Archives there, in their microfilm room, you can go in there with a USB stick, and it's just, what a great service. It's I don't know of any other publication that has continuously reported and recorded the history of Polk County more than the Polk County News. That's not to say there's not a lot of books that's been written, but this publication's been doing it since, the 1880s. It's humbling to think about that.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You almost feel like it used to be a kind of a joke, but now it's almost like you used the word stewardship. That's almost what we're thrown into, whether we like it or not. It's almost a guilt feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
If not me, who?
It's right, and I think that's how I went about it. When I said earlier that just, Candace and I are pretty humble as far as our finances go. So it was a lot of sacrifice and a lot of help from the Polk County community that allowed us to revive it and keep it going. And in the past 3 to 4 years, it's actually been profitable. Not much, but
at least in the black a little bit, paying you back for the first couple of years or something.
Yeah. So we nearly stopped printing it when the Cleveland Daily Banner was bought by the Gannett Media. Somebody, the last time somebody bought them, they closed the print shop down here in Cleveland and moved it to Sevierville.
I remember that.
So we had about 10 days notice.
Oh, yeah, so 10 days notice.
About 10 days
Golly.
notice, they said we're...
That sounds like a national bank wanting you to pay off loans.
Yeah. So at that point, I was like, well, we were scrambling. So we're looking at, instead of driving to Cleveland to pick up several thousand newspapers every week to get out to subscribers and stores, then we're looking at driving to Sevierville or Franklin, North Carolina, which are the two closest broadsheet newspaper printers left in the area. And that's all day. I'd need an 8th day of the week to make that happen. So, big shout out here. Helen Mullins at Choate Printing in Etowah heard about what we were going through.
Choate Printing in Etowah.
Choate Printing, CHOAT. She's retired and sold it now, but it's still there. She contacted me, we spoke, and for about 16 months, Helen printed what you're seeing there at near cost in her print shop in order to, she said, I like what you guys have done by saving the newspaper. And later on, she told me that she worked for the Etowah Enterprise years ago, which of course is now long gone. So when Helen was retiring, then I had to choose, do I keep printing? And most of our subscribers in print are my age and older. So I invested in our own digital printing press then. So we're now printing in-house.
Boy, don't you have to have a lot of paper?
Yeah.
What is that, one sheet? What is that?
Sure do.
What is that sheet? 8.5 by?
Yeah, that's a...
That's not 8.5 by 11, is it?
That's a 13 by 19.
13 by 19?
Before you fold it.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 12 by 8.25, I think, when you fold it. So the machine actually takes it from a piece of paper like the 13 by 19 people, prints both sides, folds it, staples it, and even, that one comes in, even does the variable data printing. We don't have to stick labels on them anymore.
Oh, I see. Because you were sticking labels.
It was hand labeling, before that for a long time. Another way technology has allowed us to...
Boy, that machine must have cost a fortune.
Yeah, a small fortune.
That staples too?
Yeah, folds, staples, makes booklets, trifold brochures. It's a one of the big commercial machines that Neely Printing here in Cleveland, they have one identity. They have two of them.
Is it as big as this table?
Not quite. Maybe down, maybe almost.
Where do you keep it at?
In my home office.
No, you're not at the library. You didn't.
No, we didn't. During COVID, when we went through that, everyone transitioned to working from home and loved it. And as you might imagine, you don't have a lot of visitors in a print newspaper anymore because everything's done through our website. I mean, 99% of our business transactions and communications are either done website or email nowadays. We occasionally still get a written letter, but not often, and very seldom do we have people that actually want to show up in person to do business. It's just so easy to do it online. And then print is slowly declining, and online memberships are increasing. That seems to be the future now. So I hate to see print go, but it could in our lifetime. We'll see.
Yeah, I can't get comfortable with newspapers in online. I just can't get comfortable with that. I don't know why. I bet it would be more profitable for you if they did, right?
On the print side, yes.
But it wouldn't be to me, it's not as significant. But that may be just because of our age.
Yeah, but I also think that today's 20-year-old will feel the same when they're our age, maybe sooner. There's something to print.
You don't think it's necessarily a generation thing. You think it's as much as an age thing. In other words, the 20-year-old that just soon look at it online. That when he gets 50, he wants to fill the page too. Maybe.
Yeah, I would say the average 20-year-old doesn't want to look at it in print or online.
He's not looking anyhow.
Not looking, period. I did. You know, I was 20 years old when I was in the Army, 19, 20 years old, and I did, but I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have a computer. This was 1991, 92, you know, the internet hadn't came about yet, so, and how do you do a crossword puzzle online? You gotta print it out.
Yeah, well, you go in there and say, go to text and put an E?
Yeah.
It's not the same, is it?
No, not the same. It's a different experience.
Can't erase.
Right, yeah. So, good question. I think the person that figures that out will be very successful in the newspaper business, but I don't have an answer to it, really. Who knows what makes people read the newspaper?
I don't know. I really don't know. There's a psychology there if you could figure it out.
Sure.
I mean, even looking at Facebook, you don't get what a newspaper gives you for some reason. I think you're bombarded with other stuff, other ads. And here it's just only people that are concerned about our main area, maybe even as far as our region, but other than that, you're just in this little shell here for a couple hours. You're just, you know, the obituaries, the stuff that really relates to me, and nobody's going to be shoving a shoe ad in front of me. That drives me crazy.
That's nuts. Yeah, me too. It turns me away from reading things online.
If you could get it to people cheap enough, they'd buy it just for the principle of it. But
some people do. Some people subscribe for that. Some people.
How many do you have to mail them to everybody?
The people who subscribe, we mail them every week to their mailbox.
Rather than somebody delivering them, right?
Right, yeah, the mailman delivers them all. Now, we could do a carrier route, but we choose not to.
That would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? With workman's comp and cars and gas.
Yeah, the mailman knows how to do his job, let him do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no need to. Remember, they used to hire people to deliver the phone books.
Oh, yeah, I always wanted that job.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that'd be a good job. I never knew anybody that could get on there. Or the census, remember the census they used to go around?
Census too, yeah.
What does it cost to mail that? Doesn't it cost I think a stamp is what, 68 cents or something now, regular stamp?
Yeah, about 70 cents. Now, we have a periodical mailing permit, which gives us a reduced rate. You have to go through quite the application process and prove certain things. One of them being that you have, like you're talking about, you have more relevant or more content than you do advertising.
Okay, yeah, you got to.
So that, and you have to have people who are, they call it requesters. You can't be sending it to people that don't want it. You can't be junk mail. So it can only be going to people who paid you to produce it and send it to them. So we're looking at the cost of sending this probably around 35 to 40 cents each.
Does it come just like this?
Comes just like that, yeah. A lot of times the mailman will wrap their utility bills around and put a rubber band around it, you know, and they use it for wrapping them up. So,
I bet you have to get that permit every year. They probably want it updated. That's probably.
It was a one-time thing.
Oh.
And
of course, you have to divide that cost up between all the things, but.
Sure.
You're going to figure this out.
Yeah, I don't see many areas that we can cut costs anymore. Matter of fact, now I'm looking to hire one additional person to help with Adobe InDesign, Photoshop, and those things that keep me tied to a chair a lot, and I'd rather not be there.
You know, all this stuff they say these young people know how to do all that stuff. They can't do what Gwen's doing. I don't know if they could do this Adobe thing. Sure, they can get on Facebook and tell you how to log in on something, but I don't know if they can do this stuff. This is not easy. What he does is not easy. So I don't know if they can do that or not.
No, like I'm an amateur at Adobe Premiere Pro, and like I said before, it's like trying to fly the space shuttle. There's just so many buttons, so many things you can do that even the simplest things are complicated until you learn them. So now I can kind of do it in my sleep, the repetitive things each week. If something new challenges me, it may slow me
Like this
down.
section here, is this? Do you get, does somebody send you this section here with the crossword puzzles and that sort of stuff?
Yes, all the puzzles or any cartoons that you might see, we subscribe to a newspaper service called King Features Syndicate, and each week they have a data bank of cartoons, puzzles, all syndicated columns.
Like Dilbert was a syndicated cartoonist.
Absolutely, yeah.
He was syndicated.
Yeah.
And then they would sell it from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I noticed up here, Scott Canavis.
Yeah, Scott's been an advertiser even before we started publishing.
Scott's a go-with guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a big supporter of the Polk County News, both when we've had it, when the Buellers had it. As long as he's been in the legal profession, I imagine he did that.
And doesn't need it. He's still a supporter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he needs the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like Joe Rogers' office supply in there, you know. I don't know if many people buy office supplies from Joe Rogers from seeing their ad in the paper, but they've been in the newspaper so long, that brand reinforcement is something they choose to keep, you know. And they're just Higgins Funeral Home in Benton. Mm-hmm. So I think we've covered the top three, and Higgins has been an advertiser in the Polk County News since the 1950s.
Isn't it funny how branding does that? It is the most bizarre thing. Even when you know somebody's advertising to you to try to get you to do something, you still do it even when you know they're...
Sure. Yeah, studies show that if you or I see a brand advertised 12 to 15 times, it's not going to make us run out and buy a set of tires. But the next time we need a set of tires, we're going to remember that ad we saw 12 to 15 times more than we'll remember one we obviously hadn't seen.
You know, I was watching something on TV last week. It was a sports guy or something, and they had two Diet Cokes sitting in front of him. And I don't drink Diet Cokes. But the next, I thought, boy, they're trying to get me to buy a Diet Coke. I can see through that.
Yeah.
The next day, I was at Green Acres, and I went into the freezer to get a Coke, and I thought, I think I'll try one of these Diet Cokes.
Yeah.
They done got me.
Yeah.
I don't even drink Diet Cokes.
Yeah. So.
And it was pretty good. So that's funny how that works, isn't it? Branding is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tell people a lot, their first inclination when they inquire about advertising is to run one, maybe two big full-page ads. And I said, I want to sell you the full-page ads, don't get me wrong, but here's my advice. Scale it down, make it more affordable, and repeat it. Let's repeat this for 12 weeks instead of 2 weeks, and you're going to get better results.
That's why they had two Diet Cokes sitting there instead of one.
Yeah, sure.
They didn't have a big one, they had two.
Yeah. And that's why they don't just advertise once. You'll see that ad dozens of times.
It's a little hypnosis, isn't it? Just keep repeating stuff, keep repeating it, keep repeating it.
Yeah, a little bit, advertising is a little bit of brainwashing, you'd say.
You know, that's why they say you're supposed to write down affirmations when you want to accomplish a goal. Yeah. You write down affirmations every day.
Sure.
I wonder if that's somehow or another advertising to yourself. You know, I will own a successful newspaper. I will, you know, or whatever. Just keep writing it down till your brain says, okay, he's not going to let up. We might as well.
Yeah. Positive affirmation would do, yeah.
You think that's that's a real thing?
I think it's possible, sure.
Do you use any of that?
No. I'll be the first to tell you that I'm the world's worst ad seller. We don't have a advertising department. I don't have an advertising representative that reaches out to the public. We don't actively seek any advertising. I structured our subscription price and our rack sale price to cover our expenses. And if we do have someone that places an ad, then that's money we can use for repairs, upgrades, improvements, or hiring someone new in there. So in order to really go out there and secure advertising and depend on it, you've got to spend a lot of money on labor. You've got to give a lot of commissions. And in Polk County, where everybody shops in Cleveland, until we got the new food city, of course. But for the most part, people in Polk County go across the county line to acquire a lot of goods and services, and they have for years. So the businesses that are in Polk County are usually struggling, and I don't feel right hitting them up for advertisement.
And they're going to have an underlying animosity towards, don't you think? I always have when people ask me for a donation.
I don't like to be approached, and you know.
I remember when I was a kid, they were selling candy bars, and I went to this guy's house that was supposed to sell candy bars, and I knocked on the door, and he said, "What do you want?" And I went like this, and he said, "Say something. What do you want?" And I just stood there. Finally, he just shut the door, said, and I never did even ask.
Like me, not the greatest salesman.
I just can't. I could sell your stuff. I just can't sell mine.
Yeah, I don't feel right asking people.
To me, it's a charity thing. I don't want to ask for. It's like my thing here. I've had a few sponsors, but I can't ask somebody.
No.
I just rather starve. But I do know this. You know, I get about 26,000 views a week. If that isn't a place for somebody to see something, I don't know what is. How many people do you have get this? How many?
Our circulation is around 2,200 a week. So with industry formula, which is formulated by industry, you know, so take it with a grain of salt, says that for every unit sold, you'll have 3 people view it on average.
Sure, because Phil's not going to get it and his mother gets one too. They're going to both read it.
Oh, I know many people that share it, that cut out and mail things to each other. Lots of people share the username and passwords online.
Yeah.
It could be more than that, but...
so the industry standard said, what, 3 times?
Yeah.
So you're there to...
There's probably a third, on a good week, a third of Polk County, population of about 18,000 will at least glance at the paper or hold it in their hand.
That's a lot of people.
And yeah, absolutely.
Which business could handle 1,800 more customers this week? It'd be a lot, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
Do you sell them there at Cotton's place?
Yeah.
Are they on the rack?
Yeah, rack sales.
Yeah.
Sure enough, yeah. We've got about, all of our locations are in Polk County. There's probably, at last count, maybe around 40 retail establishments in West Polk and East Polk.
Do you have to take them, or do you?
Yeah, there's a guy who goes around and goes in and counts the ones that don't sell and replenishes the rack and then tallies everything up, and then the clerk either gives them cash, check, or...
And they pay it, no problem? Everything's good?
Absolutely, yeah. Out of we got $2 on that cost there, so your retailer gets 50 cents, quite a bit higher than most things. But if your impulse items that you have on as you're going up to the register, those are some of the highest profit margin items that a store has there. And it's hard to get someone who's got a rack of vapes making, they're making 125% off of those, to take that down and put a newspaper rack in, So we probably pay a little bit more to each retailer than some publications do, because, hey, I think they deserve it. It's their spot there, and hopefully get a little more exposure in the store by.
But this is mostly about just preserving the newspaper and
Yeah, like I said, for several years, even sometimes now, you got your slow months in the summer or winter that the sales just aren't that strong. You've got to keep it going.
how much is a 1-year subscription?
For locals in Polk County, $52, so they're at $1.
So say like in Bradley County.
Bradley County, you're looking at about $60 a year. Yeah, do that a little over $1 a week to have it.
Do you have the
delivered to your home.
obituaries?
Yeah.
That's
the
something
obituaries.
I don't even get the Cleveland paper no more because I don't really know. I think yours is thicker than theirs.
When local papers get bought up by the big conglomerates, they tend to use a lot of Associated Press articles. I've seen a lot of newspapers that concentrate on things that are already being covered extensively on 24-hour cable TV news networks and things.
You've
like
already
that.
heard it.
Already heard it in
Yeah.
a dozen different formats. So with the Polk County News, you're going to get what happened in Polk County. What did your county commissioners do this week? What did the local high school football team do this week? Which one of your old friends from high school passed away?
When's the funeral?
Who got arrested? When's the funeral?
Yeah.
What's going on next week at the show barn? When's the next rodeo in Copper Hill? It's local flair that is not going to make the headlines anywhere but the Polk County News.
So if you're up in McKaysville, do you take it to Copper Hill? The blue line. They got the blue line there. I love it. I could live.
Yeah.
I could live in McKaysville. Couldn't you?
Copper Hill and McKaysville is a great little town. They're right there across the river from each other. And the past two administrations in Copper Hill have really turned things around and are understanding the draw of tourism. A few years behind Blue Ridge and McKaysville, but they're bringing it together and making it happen. You had Mayor Kathy Stewart, and then now the current mayor, Greg Barker, are really good leaders. And they went through a period of time where they didn't have that. They're nearly bankrupt. So Copper Hill's making a comeback. Between Copper Hill and McKaysville, you've got great restaurants, great shops. You've got 2 trains coming into town several times a week. There's a lot of activity.
They say there's
there.
like 50,000 people ride that train a year.
I wouldn't
That's
doubt
a
that
lot.
at all. Yeah. So you've got the one that comes from Etowah.
Yeah.
Not as often. Then you've got the one from Blue Ridge that visits a couple times a week. And a lot of people pack off that train. And
Maybe more than twice a week. It seems like.
Yeah.
I had a motel in Blue Ridge before it was popular. I loved it up there, man. I loved going through McKaysville and Copper. I'm just not a big fan of Georgia.
Yeah.
So, but McKaysville, it's odd. McKaysville is its own city. Copper Hill is its own city. Ducktown's its own city, and Benton's its own city.
Yeah.
Just like Cleveland has Charleston.
Yeah. You got 3 municipalities and
3 municipalities.
and 2 in Bradley, if I'm not mistaken.
What would Ducktown's city council, what would they meet about? How many people are in Ducktown? Is there more than I'm realizing?
There probably are. And it, again, Ducktown is also steeped with history, and they have similar to Copper Hill, they've been reviving their downtown district, sidewalks, amenities, parks, festivals.
In Ducktown.
In Ducktown, yeah. And it's a great example of small town success. Ducktown is, and Copper Hill would have been right alongside them had they not had that period of some bad leadership years ago. But Ducktown's the same now. Mayor Doug Collins and
you know, back in that
do a
period,
great job.
they had back in 2006, they were really rolling. And then in 2008, when the bad economy hit, it sort of took a downturn.
Yeah.
And then now it's back to, and you know, I can be in Copper Hill in 58 minutes from right here.
Yeah.
And it's a nice drive. But you almost don't think about it being in Polk County, but it's in Polk County. What about Turtletown? They don't have city council there, do they?
No.
There's nothing there, right, in
Turtletown's
Turtletown?
unincorporated. Yep.
It never was a city, I guess?
To my knowledge, it never was a city.
Chief Duck was the one that settled.
Yeah, he was a Cherokee. Was the Chief Duck
Yeah.
was Ducktown was named after.
Have you ever studied much up on Rot?
Yeah, a little. I'm by no means an expert.
Well, did you see episode number 80? I had a guy read the book back in Rot's time.
Okay. No, I didn't see
And
it.
he came and imitated Rot
Yeah.
as if Rot was on the discussion.
Interesting.
He studied his movements, or, you know, his personality,
Yeah,
and I had Rot on the discussion.
yeah.
It's a great episode.
He was probably one of the most influential figures in Polk and Bradley County.
They have no idea
Yeah.
how this guy was. But yeah, he started, I guess he knew Chief Duck and all of them, probably.
I'm not sure what the timeline is there.
Well, Rod's time was supposed to be like from 1950 to 1980. I mean, you talk about somebody that was so well known, they even named a period from him.
Sure.
I mean, not just a name, and not just naming a building, they named that era before Rod's time and after Rod's time.
Yeah. The time when Rot was in charge of the industry, it's seen its biggest successes there, and it had the improvements in the old Copper Highway. And that was what you might call the second round of success. You know, the initial copper mines were before Rot's time and were successful but short-lived due to transportation problems. The railroad hadn't made it yet, and the famous Supreme Court lawsuit from the open smelter process, where they smelted the copper ore, and the wind carried the noxious fumes into North Georgia and killed crops there, and caused environmental damage away from Copper Hill, and created a lawsuit which went all the way to the Supreme Court and ended the open smelter process, and effectively didn't help the industry.
Didn't Rod come up with the way to smelt it without it doing that or something? And
At the Ducktown mine, I remember reading about that they did come up with that technology. I don't know how it was connected to Rot, though. I couldn't tell you that.
You ought to do a story on
I bet he
Rod.
financed it if he could.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, there's been so much done on him. Matter of fact, right now, some folks in Cleveland are still working on some history of Rot, and of course, you know that his business office is still somewhat standing there over towards is it the old whirlpool that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's where he lived. At the house.
That's always been the belief. in the not to spoiler alert, but in the next release of some of Bradley County's history, that might be disproven. I'm not
Is that right?
not promising that, but that
Well, you know, he had a.
there's only one picture of his house, and it doesn't really correspond with. It kind of leads towards the building that's left now being his business office, and
Well, you know, that's where the claim is that he had a tunnel from his house to the depot,
okay,
which because he's the one that got the depot to stop there. The train stopped
okay,
there,
yeah,
and that he was taking payroll, so that could have been his office, taking it from.
Yeah.
But then some people claimed that he was a Union sympathizer, and that he was part of the Underground Railroad, allowing slaves to escape. And I asked him when he was here, and he said he didn't want to comment.
smart guy.
So the
yeah,
it
he
continued.
was a businessman, so I imagine he was both a Confederate and a Union sympathizer.
Yeah, he was building the cannonballs and selling it.
Yeah,
He was a businessman. You know, he was originally from Germany.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was brought over as a lower level employee that had experience, and he worked his way up and proved his worth, and
Yeah.
pretty much took over the operation.
They said he had 1,200, if I'm remembering it right, 1,200 600 teams of horses from Ducktown to into Cleveland a day with copper.
Coming
And
down the
and
Copper River.
a team at that time was 12 horses. Can you imagine that many? They even had a halfway house,
Yeah.
like a motel they stayed. What's the name of that town where they isn't that halfway place still there? Is it I know it's not Postal, but I want to say something like that.
The sign is still there that memorializes the halfway house. The location of the halfway house is now underwater because the original grade of the old Copper Road followed the river.
Uh-huh.
So when they flooded the lake, they had to build a new road higher.
So he was down below.
He was down below to your left if you see that sign there. One of my ancestors, Dennis Haskins, was influential in that time. Even had a toll road in that area.
Had a toll road.
Had a toll
Wonder where it
road.
went from where to where.
Good question. I don't know. That's just some of my family history.
Might have been Keith Valley. No,
This
Old
was,
Federal
you're
Road.
talking in Postal now. Where the halfway house there was Highway 30, that goes through Reliance and back over to 411, through Greasy Creek, Reliance.
Greasy, yeah.
and through
They're at
there.
the-
Yeah,
Like you're going close to the ranger station, I guess.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, right there.
So that's where you think that's where that's where the halfway house
That's
was?
it. That is
Yeah,
where the
yeah.
halfway house was. Yep. And it, from what I understand, it wasn't much of a house as much as it was just a camp.
Just a place to stay if they needed
A
to.
place
yes.
to hitch your wagons, get some hay, get some water, get some food for yourself, and a place to bed down for the night.
Do you ever cover any news from Greasy Creek?
Sure. Yeah. There's not a lot that goes on in Greasy Creek.
Just
but-
a great. You know who's
yeah.
from there? Hatchett, our district attorney.
Oh, really? Stephen Hatchett.
Stephen
right?
Hatchett. I believe. Isn't that what he said, Gwen? He's from there. I believe he's from Greasy Creek.
Yeah. The biggest news out of Greasy Creek and Reliance the past couple of years has been the semi trucks going down Highway 30 and scaring people to death.
Lord, that would scare you to death. I've ridden my bicycle through there several times. It's about 9 miles, I think.
Yeah.
Boy, it's a nice drive, isn't it?
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's classic Polk County there.
Boy, there's nothing like coming over that hill and you're coming down to Webb's store and you know they got something cold to drink.
Yeah. Webb Store. He's open the summertime now still. So you can still go in. Oldest Texaco station in the United States.
Boy, those pumps are slow, aren't they? Golly, you stand there forever waiting. But now, before you get to that Webb store on the right, that was Postal Community,
Okay.
which
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing there, but it's on the map.
Yes. Yeah, you're looking at what else is through there? had Springtown is across the river, you know, and
You mean when you go across the bridge, that was Springtown?
Springtown is not across the river.
Towie.
Towie
Is it
Mountain.
Towie
Yeah,
Mountain?
that's what I
Towie
mean. Yeah,
Mountain,
Towie
yeah.
Mountain, then you get into Springtown, and you go out by the fire hall and that way on it. So,
Well, if you go up through there, from there to up to Polk County on that side of the road, you're in the middle of nowhere, aren't you?
yeah,
I mean, you could murder somebody there. They would never find it out, would they?
it would take them a little longer. to
It'd
find
take
out
a
there, yeah.
You know, they said that, you ever go down the Kimsey Highway much? Have you ever been through there?
Yeah, sure have.
How many times?
Oh, dozens of times since probably the first time when I laid out.
Eddie
Good
Cartwright took a Cadillac through there.
I took a Toyota Prius through there.
No trouble?
No. Yeah, slow speed. You got to do that.
Was it 30 minutes or 45?
You can easily spend an hour going through Kimsey Highway there.
If you meet, are there places if you meet a car, you're just in trouble?
No, not so much. I mean, there might be, if you meet a car, you'd have to back up or whatever, you'd have to yield. But
Well, who
not
owns
so
the
bad.
property through there? Is it the National Forest?
That would be the National Forest for the most part. There might be.
Is it asphalt much at all?
There's no asphalt on it. It's the beginning and the end there when you enter off of in the Greasy Creek area and then come out in near Farner.
Farner.
Out that
They
way,
said
yeah.
Farner used to be.
Turtletown. You come out of
Turtletown.
Turtletown, yeah.
Well, they said Farner was busier, that was more populated than Bradley County at one time because of the mines.
I don't doubt that at all, especially when the railroads were there. And the railroads first came, you know, they came from Etowah to Copper Hill, to Ducktown first and to Copper Hill, specifically for the mining industry. That's why I brung it up there.
Well, history like that is it's something that I never was interested in, but I don't know if I'm getting older or what, but just to go someplace where something happened before, to me, that's even something to say, hey, here is where I went to Tombstone last year in Arizona,
Yeah.
and just went to the grave of, you know, Doc Holliday.
Interesting. I bet that was neat.
Yeah, it was. It was just there's nothing there now, but knowing that there's not much that's changed.
Yeah.
I try to learn from history.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, McFarland is, I believe that's up there around Towie Pike. I've never been there, but Chet, what's that guy's name, Gwen? Chet, Chet Baker? No, Chet, that's the singer. That's the horn player.
Guthrie.
Chet Guthrie. He did a story on that.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
I recognize McFarland. The Buellers, Ingrid and Randolph, they left us an entire history of families, heritage stories, heritage photos. And I have seen McFarland in the heritage story section that I've got, but I haven't dug into it.
Near Butler Cemetery on Hiwassee.
Okay.
you know, you could have a person, I always think of businesses that might not make a lot of money, but might. You could get a bus and say, okay, today we're going to McFarland, and you could have a guy, you could have food on the bus and drive up there and have a guy give a history lesson of it and get up there and spend 3 or 4 hours or 2 hours and come back, and around here you could be full all year long going to things like that.
People are really interested in history here.
More than you realize.
More than you realize. Matter of fact, we run a lot of recollection and history articles in the Polk County News. because they're popular. The feedback from our customers say they enjoy reading anything from the Cherokees all the way through to history of in the 1970s, which is starting to become a long time ago now. But I can see McFarland now above the windshield of the bus driver, you know, in the
Oh, yeah, yeah, I can see it, yeah.
you know, or Ocoee or
yeah.
something. And the train rides are a great example of that. For instance, the Tennessee Overhill Heritage Association, based in Etowah, they serve Polk, Meigs, men in Monroe counties as a promotional 501c3 promotional organization to promote tourism and recognition of our heritage in the area. They own the train ride from Etowah to Copper Hill, along with the actual train company out of Chattanooga. It escapes me now. But anyway, if you've ever rode that train ride from Etowah, you go up the Hiwassee River Gorge and around the big loop, which is historic. They had to do that in order to get around the grade, and then all the way up into Copper Hill. And they have the conductors, I suppose you call them, that walk about the train with you and point out old communities that used to be along the Hiwassee, the history of the railroad and the history of where it went and what it did, and back to Wetmore and all. So it's exactly what you're saying. And the train rides are usually packed with both locals and tourists.
Good day trips.
Great day trips, yeah. So whether or not a bus would be
Yeah.
the ideal thing, but the train is definitely popular. I mean, you've got the...
Well, with the bus, you could go different places.
Yeah,
You could even print, you know, here's where we're going next month.
yeah.
We're going to, you know, wherever.
Polk County History Road Trip. Like
Yeah.
it is, yeah. Very good.
You seem to get in businesses that are off the beaten path or not the norm. I mean, you had a bar on 64 Highway, which was not a bar as you think about it. It was a, what would you call that? It was just a game room that serves.
Yeah, good question. What we would call that?
Yeah.
It was.
And it wasn't a rough place or nothing like that.
No, it was. In a sense, kind of life changing. The people that came through there because of the tourist industry, both as customers and river guides, created a eclectic mix of people from all over the country and even the world there, and just made it a kind of a unique place that you really hard to replicate or even understand. But yeah, you're right.
Guides on people that run those rafts and those guides and river rats, I called them. They were a eclectic bunch. I think that's a good word for it.
Yeah, eclectic. They
weren't judgmental.
No, not at all. It's growing up in Polk County and installed a lot of good values in me, but I didn't get out and travel a lot. My stint in the Army and then when I went to school at UT in Knoxville were my only times away from home. So at the Duff, I was exposed to personalities, ideas, ideologies, stuff from people from all over, like I said, the United States and even the world, and it opened my eyes and made a different person out of me. Now, as far as the business aspect of it, I'll go back to I just didn't think it out. I was 22. I thought it'd be cool to have a bar. So,
Was you? Dang, I guess I was about 26 or 27 then. I thought I was an old man. But you seem to like stuff that you can handle yourself for the most part.
sure.
I've always envied that in people because I'm in a business that I can't.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to have some help.
What would you do if what would you do if you didn't have this newspaper, the poultry farm, I guess you call it?
Yeah.
And what would you do?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. That'd be,
Think for a minute. What would you do?
I don't know. Maybe I would have a podcast.
There's no money in it.
No, not at all. I've got a history of choosing business ventures that are not extremely profitable, but to me have been really enjoyable, really educational, and have been, I think, an asset to the community I live in. So the Polk County News, I think, stands out as a shining example of that. And we never have and never will have a Polk County News yacht on Parksville Lake. It's not that kind of business. But I think the next generation, the Polk County News will be there for them to decide whether or not they want to continue it or not. They're not going to lose it. So,
Have you ever thought about doing a Polk Bradley County News, since you seem to cover as much or more than what I think is a little more personal?
I've had people suggest that to me, but I've never considered doing it. There's no way. That would be
Just too much.
That would be too much. And my interest lies within Polk County for the most part. Our histories are intertwined, especially Bradley and Monroe. But Bradley and other counties have someone looking out for them. I need to concentrate and look out for Polk County. So there might come a time when that's a good business venture for someone to do, but it'll be someone younger than me that's willing to take on that kind of workload.
Was you let's see, what was I going to say? You remember the Good Government League? Do you ever remember those stuff about that? Remember that time when they had the Good Government League and they met at Greasy Creek or something like that? Do you know any history on that?
Sure. Bob Barkley was one of the community leaders behind the Good Government League. And of course, you had the returning soldiers from World War II who came home to the Biggs Cantrell machine, which was Sheriff Birch Biggs in Polk County and I believe Sheriff Cantrell in McMinn. And interesting book. Have you ever seen
Tyler
the book?
Boyd?
Tyler Boyd.
That's right.
Tyler Boyd wrote the Biggs Machine book, and all of us have always heard this story or that story or a snippet here and there. Tyler did a wonderful job of putting it all together in an explainable story, and at the same time not insulting everybody in it, because
He's a good writer.
And he's got another book coming out soon that picks up where the Biggs Machine left off and really concentrates on the Good Government League and how it formed, starting kind of with the Battle of Athens and its history in Polk County especially. And remember when the National Guard had sandbags on the courthouse there, and the commander of the National Guard met Biggs in the middle of the street, to...
So he's taking it from... He's almost doing a trilogy there, I guess, or
I sure
this
hope
is
so.
almost part two. I think maybe he wrote another book too. I forget what it was.
One of his first ones was about his uncle, who was the deciding vote in the women's
John
suffrage
Burns.
movement.
Was it John Burns?
That's correct, or darn close.
I believe it's John Burns. He had he was from Naoda.
He was a representative, and from Naoda, and I believe he was Tyler's great uncle. Maybe wrong on that.
I think you're right.
And he it was, they had to ratify the change the Constitution to allow women to vote. And to ratify in order for it to have enough states to ratify it in the Constitution, Tennessee had to vote to ratify it. In other words, if they did, it became law. And Tyler's relative cast the deciding vote to do it. Nobody knew which way he was going to vote. He was the swing vote until the end. And if I'm not mistaken, he actually climbed out the courthouse window after casting his vote, just out of caution.
But it was serious business then.
It was serious business. I don't doubt what he wasn't partially scared for his life, in part.
I'm sure.
And a neat part of that story was that it was his mother that was really influential in him making that vote for it. He said, "Would I want my mother to be able to vote?" And he said, "Yes." And that's how it came about. But yes, that was Tyler's first book. Harry T. Burns.
Harry T. Burns. Where'd I get John Burns? Harry T. Burns. He's buried in Nioda.
I believe so. Yeah.
See, that'd be a bus trip.
That would be, absolutely.
Tell the story on the way
Tyler
down.
should be driving
Tyler
the
would be
bus on the
driving.
microphone. Yeah, but it is. So, but the Biggs Machine book, everybody should read it if they hadn't, because it's not just specific to Polk County. It reveals a lot of things about Polk County politics, but it also dives into the relationship between Sheriff Biggs and Boss Crump in Memphis, and how the two of them, for the most part, largely controlled state politics. You know, Estes Kefauver was a nephew of Biggs, I believe, or Crump one, who was Polk Bradley and Meigs McMahon and Rose U.S. representative then, and they were very influential with him, although he voted against him a couple things in the very end of his career.
See, that's not been that long ago in the scheme of things. We think of it as, boy, it's funny how you just
Yeah.
40 years, 60, 70 years, and you're forgotten.
Yeah. Unless someone
If it
writes
weren't
a
for
book
the
about it.
newspaper.
Right. That's where, and you know, Tyler did a lot of the research he found for his books has been in part the Polk County News, and then in larger part your other bigger newspapers, which back then covered more local stuff, like the Knoxville News Sentinel was a big contributor, and they had a lot of subscribers in Polk County, and they wrote a lot of articles on murders, on so even back then, newspapers were sharing stories amongst themselves, and the Knoxville and Chattanooga newspaper would pick up a story and, with their resources, report on it more in depth than even the.
You know, I
Polk County News
remember,
did.
the newspaper stands even exist anymore where you can go. I went through a period of my life where I'd go on Sunday mornings and I'd get the Atlanta Journal, the Wall Street Journal, and the Cleveland Daily Banner, and I'd sit at home for a few hours and just look through all of them. Thought I was really something, but
Yeah.
I don't even know if they got newsstands anymore. Do they?
You
Like
know,
that.
no, not to say not like that. Now you might find a few convenience stores or mom and pops that still carry a wider selection of newspapers. For instance, in Copper Hill, we've got Talent Pharmacy and Kimsey Pharmacy there, and they'll carry the McCaysville paper, the Polk County paper, the North Carolina paper, and the USA Today and all that. So those two little drugstores, you can get a great selection of newspapers there. But as far as the newspaper stand goes, I think those are. They went with alongside payphones and coin-operated. You can't just put a quarter in and get a newspaper.
No, nobody's got a quarter.
Nobody's got a quarter.
Critical. You know what I always thought would be good if you had a coffee shop that said, let's say that you was at Starbucks and they handed you a coffee and a newspaper.
Sure.
It just cost them 50 cents or $1.
Yeah. Great idea.
But they go together, don't they? Instead of saying, here's your napkin, say, here's the local newspaper.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'm going to get a cup of coffee and go there. Why? Where do you get a newspaper?
If they had a drive-through,
Just hand that out with
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Because people feel like they're getting a gift. When it don't matter what it is unless it smells bad. If somebody says, "Here, I got something to give you," you'll carry it home tonight.
Yeah.
Just you think, "Oh, they gave it to me."
Sure.
May not even read it, but you got it's like a gift.
Yeah, I agree.
What's your family history of Bates? Is George Bates Road part of your family?
I'm not sure the history of George Bates Road specifically, but one of my ancestors was George Mack Bates. So the possibility of the road being named after him or a son is definitely high on the list.
Who was your father?
My dad was Walter as well. And my grandfather was Ira Bates. And that Bates lineage goes back in Polk County to a Martin Bates, who was a Civil War soldier and is buried in Benton. And then on my grandmother's side, she was a Haskins, who I mentioned earlier. It goes back to Dennis Haskins. So both sides of my paternal family were deep rooted in Polk County all the way back to even before it was a county.
What about your mother?
My mom was from Ellijay, Georgia. Her family was Holdens up there, and my mom and dad met. My dad was working construction for Simpson Bridge a year out of high school, and my mom was a senior in high school, and they had the bridge shut down. So they took the bus through the water, and they walked the kids across the old bridge or whatever, and my mom and dad met then and dated and then later on married. But
What are the odds of that?
what are the odds of that? Yeah, no kidding.
And stayed together the
So
whole
I
time?
spent a lot of my youth in the Blue Ridge and Ellijay areas up in up around the Big Creek area. Ellijay,
That's between
Appalachia.
Chatsworth and...
That'd be yeah. Now if you leave Chatsworth and go up Fort Mountain, you'll
Fort-
come into Ellijay.
Yeah.
And then if you'll head back,
515?
No, yeah, 515. From there, you can come back through
Cherry Log.
Yep, Cherry Log. Yeah, absolutely. Go by the Pink Pig for
Pink
barbecue.
Pig, yeah.
Been
And
there.
the UFO Museum?
Yep.
You ever been there? No, the Bigfoot
Museum.
But they have a lot of UFO stuff there. I went through
Yeah.
there, boy. It was really nice.
Yeah.
You can spend an hour and a half there.
Sure.
Free coffee, too.
Yeah, Bigfoot Museum's neat. It is. So yeah, I spent a lot of time in East Polk, going through that way, and Ellijay and Blue Ridge.
That's why
in the
you're so
summers.
familiar with Copper Hill and McKaysville and Dougtown.
Yeah, as a kid, I didn't know any of this, but my familiarity with the history of the area has came about since we've had the Polk County News. Absolutely, just being able to have quick access to reading the archives that we hold.
Hey, who has that restaurant now up there when you go right into Ducktown on the left? It used to be I guess it's still there. There's a restaurant there. It used to be a Hardee's back in the day, years and years and years ago. And then it became some kind of a sit-down restaurant. And right as you get to the top of the hill and before you get to 68, it's right there on the left.
Oh, it's still vacant, I
Oh,
believe.
vacant.
Yeah.
I guess COVID got it.
I believe it's been vacant long before that. Yeah, the Piggly Wiggly's closed, the grocery
Oh, the
store.
Piggly Wiggly's closed?
Piggly Wiggly's been out of business for a long time. If you live in East Polk, you're looking at a 30-minute drive to get groceries minimum.
Wonder where you'd go.
Blue Ridge or now Ocoee.
It's 12 minutes from Blue Ridge to the blue line.
And yes.
So it'd be another 12 minutes. They're 30 minutes.
Add 10 for traffic now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So that would.
Isn't that strange that a grocery store can't make it right there?
Yeah, well, you know that the hospital closed, the mine was
hospital
closed.
closed,
Like
yeah.
I mentioned earlier, we had a period in Polk County where nothing was open and everything was closing. It's only started to turn around.
Ducktown Inn's still there, right?
Ducktown Inn is there, newly remodeled, and looking great.
You know, I went up there one weekend. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I just had it, man. I just had all I could take. And I drove up there and stayed 2 nights and sat
Awesome.
by that little pool they got.
Yeah.
And I just,
Yeah.
after about 2 days, I felt better. I just sit and watch TV and sit in the sun. I just had all I could take.
Yeah, great place to go
Great
relax.
place.
It's now called the Mallard Hotel.
Mallard Hotel.
The new owners came in, they completely did a remodel, fixed things up, and they promoted it, and it's a busy little place.
I bet they've got a corner on the market.
Absolutely.
I used to go up to Ranger a lot, to that flea market up there when it was
Okay.
really busy.
All right.
And I think there's a Dollar General there now, but
You're talking about the flea market was there on not a crossroad, but
yeah, at the
T.
what was that restaurant? The Bear
Yeah.
Claw or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep, I hadn't
They
been
had a
through there in
grill,
a
a
while.
hamburger grill.
And it's a Dollar General now. You
It's
think?
a Dollar General. This makes you sick.
Yeah, no more pork rinds or boiled peanuts.
No.
Just Dollar General. Well, that seems to be the trend.
Hey, you ever have you know what I thought it'd be new if you had a page in here that said, that was like the headlines from this day, you know.
Oh yeah, like the Remember When.
Yeah.
What did
So
something.
you've
We
already
do-
thought about that.
Well, we do. We run that on occasion,
Yeah.
and each issue will have a lot of different history things in there. But
Yeah.
the Remember When column is probably on.
George McCoy gave me this.
Okay. Yeah. What the It's let's see. We're and it's what if matter of fact, if you forget to put the Remember in there, you get people called. There it is.
Yeah. Oh, remember when? Yeah.
So it starts out
in
in like the
1930s.
20s.
You're doing a great thing here. man.
Little bit of tidbit of that, and the Remember When column has been in there throughout a lot of Polk County's history in some form, and the Buellers, my predecessor, really put a lot of effort into organizing it. So when I took over the newspaper, you know, I don't have to write this whole thing every week. I've just got to write the last one.
Oh, I see.
And all this has been written before. So we've got a huge collection of what happened and when. My job is just to find it and place it and make it relevant now. So, but yeah, there's and the whole history is a big part of it. Like and to keep people from getting confused about whether it's current or
Yeah. Get them confused.
We'll gray it out, and
I see, yeah,
again, my
yeah.
predecessor said to do that. It's just a tradition. I keep it up. But so here we got stuff about the Civil War. It could be about the Revolutionary War next week. It could be just whatever. I've got a lot of digital archives, and then at the courthouse in Benton, I have physical copies of the newspaper dating back to about 1915, I think is one of our earliest copies. And I keep a small box of those in my office all the time, and I've got a overhead digital scanner, and I'll spend a little bit of time each week pulling out the old newspapers and scanning them, and that's a little bit of a challenge to get it from that form to this digital form in there. It'd be quite an explanation to get into it, but recent AI advancements are really helping me with speeding the time up on that. But just the Polk County News combined with our county historians, Marion Presswood's Polk County Historical and Genealogical Society, have a wealth of history information that it would take years to go through. So we try to bring just a little bit of every week. And I think, I enjoy that more than the rest. If it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd be doing it.
You're doing great things. What about Dan Howe? Isn't he a great representative for that area?
Dan does a great
he
job.
does a great job.
Yeah.
He's just, my wife loves him.
Yep. I've had nothing but good relationship with Dan. He seems to.
If he can help you, he will.
Yeah.
And he'll find out if he can.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I like about
He's
it.
responsive.
I caught him about a
Very
problem
good,
2 or
yeah.
3 times, man. It just worried him to death.
Yeah. And Dan's a smart guy, too.
Yeah.
You can talk to him, and most importantly, you can disagree with him.
Oh, he don't bother him a bit.
And you can explain why you
Yeah.
disagree with him. He'll explain why he disagrees
Yeah.
with you, and you shake hands and you leave friends with him. And you can't do that with a lot of politicians.
I think he lives up there now in the
Yeah. Yep, just below the dam.
Frog.
Yep.
Well, I want to call that the Frog.
Big Frog.
Big
I think
Frog.
that is called Big
Frog
Frog. Yeah.
subdivision or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Jeff, you're doing great things. Am I one of the few people that call you Jeff? Did we just call you Jeff during the day, in that day, or what?
No, that's all. You know, my family. I grew up in high school and everything like that. Jeff.
Yeah.
There is another Jeff Bates that's a little older than me, and for years I ruined his reputation. So
Now you're running his.
when Candace and I
Where he's
decided to publish the newspaper, I wanted to make a distinction between the two of us. He's a little older than me and is in a little bad health now, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't affect him because I'm not everyone's hero. Not everyone likes the truth. We'll leave it at that. So in the Polk County News, at least, I'm Walter J. Bates.
Who was it here a while back? I knew somebody I talked to knew your wife, and I can't not for the life of me remember who I was talking to, and it just escapes me. They said, oh, her husband runs the Polk County News, and they said, Jeff, and I said, not the one that owned it up. They said, yeah, that's him. And I said, no, not that one. They said, no, that's him. And I said, no, not that one. They said, no, that's him.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no telling who that might have been. Candace.
It was all complimentary.
She's been teaching
Yeah.
for a long time in Polk County and Chatsworth, and the past few years she's been at Cleveland Middle, I talked about earlier, and I married up. She's a class act.
Mm-hmm. That's what they were saying.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just can't remember who it was telling me that.
Yeah, but definitely helped my reputation by marrying her.
Well, I know one thing, you're doing good things.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I'm proud of it. It's been a lot of hard work. And,
If anybody's out there, get a Polk County News, subscribe to them. It's just $60 a year, and it's not just for the content, but it's the right thing to do.
yeah, better yet, drive up to Polk County and have dinner at one of our restaurants and
Yeah.
pick up one at a gas station. Just
Yeah,
try it
and,
out.
and have lunch up there with Lankto.
Yeah,
With Blankto.
The Hunting Club
Yeah,
Bistro,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
They got good food.
Coffee and Joe, yeah, absolutely.
They got good food.
Yep. We ate there the other day. I'll tell you one more story.
Tell me.
At the Hunting Club Bistro, I had lunch with a young lady from the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development, and she was in town and bestowed certificates on 3 businesses in Polk County that had been in business over 100 years. And we went to lunch afterwards at the Honey and Clove. Mm-hmm. Well, the 3 businesses were, of course, the Polk County News and the YMCA Camp Ocoee. Mm-hmm. Got 102 years in now. And the 3rd was a Copper Hill Golf Course.
Is that right?
That surprised me, yeah. So you'll see 2 of those in next week's issue, and then the Copper Hill Golf Course is coming up in a few weeks, and they're going to go back and do a presentation for those guys. So a lot of history in Polk County.
I love Polk County. I enjoy going. I ride my bike up there 3 times a week.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for spending money in Polk County.
Thank you, buddy.